Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Mind and Body Podcast. I am joined with my good friend, Claire Boyce. She is, if you didn't see, she waved, so thank you for that. She is a fitness nerd, an avid runner. She's run everything from 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons, and I found out today, ultra marathons, right?
Yep,
You at
you're
least
right.
one or more. You could probably tell us more about that in a little bit. And she is the host of the Kind of Fast podcast, which is really kind of cool name. I love it. And that's associated with upward, if I could say it, running. And I'm sure as we get into the interview, you'll tell us more about what you're doing, some of the programs or projects that you're going to be handling with that. I'd love to hear more. Today, we're going to be talking all about running. And Claire obviously has some experience here. My question for you is, how did you first like enter into this running phase? Like, how did it come? Were you like running for your life? Did you watch a Tom Cruise movie? How did it happen?
So, I have been running literally my entire life, and it started because I was a little bit of a troublemaker as a child. I was not a good child. I was
No, you?
no, not a good child in the sense that I would backtalk to my parents, all of the time. And so my mom thought it would be a great idea as punishment to help me join a run club in elementary school. So I actually
Oh,
started for punishment and I was like, haha, joke's on you. I actually love this.
well, so what was punishment ended up being like a reward type of
Yeah,
thing?
so it was either that or I was trying to prove a point to my parents like, "Oh, this isn't punishment, I actually like this." But
Oh, I see. So the rebel streak continues. It's like, oh,
Oh,
actually, it turns out I love this. Thank you. That's funny. Now, you interviewed, I think on your podcast, you interviewed your mom, right? So
Yeah.
I've seen some pictures of you and your mom running. So was she already running at that time?
No, no, it's
Oh,
actually been a really fun experience. A few years ago, I think in 2018, I came up to her, I was like, "Mom." She's like, "Yeah?" She always gets worried when I say, "Mom." I was like, "Mom, let's run the Disney Princess Half Marathon." And she looked at me and she's like, "Now, Claire, why on earth would I wanna do that?" And I said, "Well, it's never too late to do hard things." And so she took that and she quite literally ran with it, and we actually completed our both of our first half marathons together, holding hands at the Disney Princess Half Marathon.
oh my good. Did you guys dress up for that? Were you like running in Disney
Heck yeah,
princess?
you can't go to a Run Disney race and not dress up for that.
That's cool. Are you a Disney fan? I'm guessing.
Well, that's a hard question. I love the Run Disney races. They're so much fun. I have on my running bucket list to complete the Walt Disney World full marathon solely because I want to ride a roller coaster mid marathon. I mean, how fun is that?
Oh, no way. They have it like midway, huh?
Well, kind of. You're not technically supposed to do that, but they let runners who are running through the parks hop on the single rider line and just kind of take a ride on the roller coaster while you're running your marathon.
That is pretty legit. That's
Right? See, don't you wanna run now?
well, I thought like, "Oh, that sounds fun," and then I thought, "Oh, the pain of running, maybe not." Uh, but,
Pain is relative, okay?
hey, but your goal should be to, like, get me to the space. I need some encouragement, Claire.
I got
The
you.
most, I've run is a half marathon, but it was not at a race. I just went out and ran. The highest actual race that I've done is a 10K. So,
Nice.
yeah, but I could see the judgment there. Yeah. Oh,
A
yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Does it
Uh,
really count? Can you really say you ran a half
I
marathon?
know, it's just like kinda like if you didn't, post it on social, did it happen? Like, so if you didn't actually go to a race. Yeah, I mean, that's a legit pushback, so maybe I have to, like, go to a race, post a picture, send it to you, and then, maybe at the end of the race, like, laying on the ground, "I did it," you know?
There you go. There you go. Hey, really, it counts once you have your finisher certificate. So at the end of every
Oh,
race, you get that finisher,
man, not
and once
even the
you have
picture.
that, then it's official.
Okay, because you would say, "You just took a picture at a race. You didn't actually run." So
Exactly.
then okay. I know what I need now. It's like when you have to go to the DMV and get something changed, you have to have all these like particular things. So now I know. what I need to bring to
Your
prove.
birth certificate, Social Security. I need 3 proofs of address.
Okay. All right. All right. So, like, this is actually kind of funny because the thing that your mom put you in as a form of punishment became actually a means of connection for you guys.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a fun story. I
It
like that.
it did, and she is actually so she is 66 years old now, or I should say years young now, and she is about to run her very first marathon in October.
Oh, no way. Are you running with her?
I'm not running with her, I will be there. So she's running in the Chicago World Marathon, which is one of the Abbott World Marathons. So there are 7 official world marathons now with 2 more coming on the way, which I don't agree with, but that's a different topic for another day. And they're very hard to get into. You have to either 1, raise money for charity, 2, be fast enough to qualify, which
Oh,
is hard.
okay.
Yeah, and then 3, you enter in through a lottery system, so it's like a 2% chance that you're selected to run the race. So I'm not running with her in October, but I'll be on the course cheering her on.
So she just qualified for it because she's got that much speed now?
Yeah, exactly right. No, she
Oh,
didn't. She didn't qualify. She's actually raising money. My dad has prostate cancer, and she's
oh.
raising money for a charity to help with prostate cancer. So it's a really full circle moment.
One thing I love about the running community is their involvement in causes, like raising money
Yes.
for causes. I mean, I haven't really seen anything like the community itself, like just running community. When I think about like fitness communities, um, I'm very much into strength training and kind of like more the natural side of things, but natural bodybuilding. I enjoy that kind of stuff. The community can be weird though. Sometimes it could be awesome, but it can be kind of weird. You got like different segments like meathead, segments, and there's the science nerd section, which I like, but sometimes they can be overly pedantic. It's just like, oh my goodness, just go work out. They're like, um, just using an excessive amount of like big terminologies to sound smart or whatever. But so there's some weird things. But when I see the running community, now, I'm not like, I guess, officially in that community. I just see something that's really tight knit, that's really, I don't know, just encouraging. Like I just feel like everyone just like, yeah, you're doing it. You're doing it. Even if you're like holding your side and about to die. Is that a true assessment of the community?
1000%. I have been part of plenty of different communities in my lifetime, and there is absolutely nothing like the running community from just like you said, the encouragement. Um, you go to any race around you. It could be local, it could be one of the world majors, and there will always be people cheering on the side and cheering at the finish, no matter what you look like. If you are really thin, if you are not really thin, if you're really fast, if you're not really fast, there's always an uplifting and encouraging atmosphere as a runner in a runner's world. And it's a breath of fresh air. It really is. I've never had a community like the running community.
When did you first identify yourself as a runner? Like, it wasn't just like, "Oh, yeah, I like to run," but you're like, "No, I'm a runner." Like, you embrace the vibe. I mean, did you, like, say it out loud? Like, "I am a runner." Like, did you have a moment, like, eureka moment?
I don't think I've ever done that. I've actually, though I've been running, I mean, probably since I was 6 years old. I'm 32 now for reference. I've really, until the last 2 years or so, struggled with my identity as a runner because I haven't always been very fast. I ran in college. I literally came in a race dead last. So I always thought I'm not a real runner. I'm not really a runner. But the last 2 years, I've done a lot of self work, I guess you could say. And you know what? I am a runner. I can run. It doesn't matter if I'm fast. It doesn't matter if I'm slow. I am a runner. I'm running. I'm doing the hard thing.
I like that. So, there's a lot of ways to stay active, though. Why do you run?
It's
Bes
There is nothing like finishing a workout that you really did not want to do if it's raining and cold and you go out and you're like, "You know what? I don't wanna do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway." There's nothing quite like that satisfaction that you can go out there and do hard things. I love it. It's a good feeling.
Okay, so that helps me. I'm glad you said that, running is hard. So
Yes.
it felt that way because I don't know, sometimes I get this vibe when I've seen you on social media, it's like, yeah, Claire just looks like she's always just, like, smiling. When I see you in pictures too, you always look very pleasant. I don't know if you just
That's good, that's good.
selectively pick the nice or maybe just very photogenic or whatever, but
I
I
don't know. There was a photo from the last race a few weeks ago, and it was bad. I'll post that one.
well, Claire, you know, because 'cause we've worked together on different projects, um, I'm really hard to take a picture of. Like, if I'm public speaking, I just make these funny faces. I probably just even when I'm doing, like, social media and I'm in the gym taking a picture, if I'm doing, like, a workout, I just make faces. It's just hard. You do a good job of just having that nice, pleasant face, so that's really good. So, I wanna ask you some rapid questions real
Ooh,
quick,
okay.
just so people can kinda get to know you a little bit. When it comes to races, what's your, like, preferred running distance? Like 5K, full marathons, half marathons, what's your favorite?
My go-to race distance would have to be a 10K because it's not quite as long as a half marathon. You don't have to go out as fast as you do in a 5K, so the
Uh,
10K is like the perfect happy number.
So do you like to, do you enjoy just going far, in your runs typically? Like, this is not like a race, just like going out for a run, or you like to go fast? It just depends on the day.
Until about a year ago, I would say distance, but right now I'm really trying to refine my speed. So I will take a speed workout over going to run like monotonous miles any day of the week right now.
Oh, okay, okay, that's cool. Right now, I'm actually really into, sprinting,
Yeah.
and so I actually one of my goals is to get a sprinter treadmill. Have you ever tried one of those things?
Is that the one that it's not on a conveyor belt, you just have to run and it goes?
Yeah, yeah, it's like self-propelled, but, like,
Yeah.
you could actually get up to your full speed. It's a little dangerous, you gotta be careful. Um, but, like, a lot of the treadmills in a gym will get up to, like, 12 miles an hour and some 15, and, so I'd like to get it. I've tried a few of the spring treadmills, and they're amazing, but they're also, like, 3 to $6,000 depending on the model you get, so they're not cheap.
You
Uh
can just go out and sprint, you don't have to have a treadmill.
No, you do have to have a treadmill. They're legit. I mean, just think about, like, the videos of sprinting on the treadmill. It's great for social. I'm just kidding, but, um, I do want to, get one of those some days. I'm kind of in this process of, like, building a home gym. We have, like, a lot of rogue fitness equipment and building a home gym, but I'd love to get a sprinter. But you are right. And matter of fact, I told myself, I'm not gonna buy one of these until I've proven that I've gotten to a consistent rhythm of just going out to a field and
True.
sprinting. But yes, I enjoy the fast. Probably right now for me, the fast over the long distance. So do you like group runs, solo runs? Are you
I
kind
like them both. They both serve very different purposes. Right now, our family is in a stage where it's kinda hard to just go to a group run all the time, so I'm doing a lot more solo miles. In the summer, it'll be easier to go to a group run, but I'm so fortunate to live in the Greenville-Spartanburg area, and there is a different run club every single night of the week. It's insane how many communities there are. So in the summer, I like to go to the run clubs more because it's just easier on the schedule, but right now it's all solo.
are you a big talker when you're in a group? Or are you
Oh,
just
yeah.
yeah, okay, I thought so. I didn't wanna say that, you'd be like, "I'm offended." Listen.
Well, it
Um,
makes the miles go by faster. If you're
oh,
talking on a long run, you just kinda get lost in conversation and you forget that you just ran 10 miles and you have 10 miles more to go.
now this may speak to my level of conditioning for running, but after I level out, like, I got my breathing, in place, I'm like, "Okay, now I'm ready to feel like I'm talking." If it's really humid, sometimes I'm not as talking, and I'm not talking as much, but, which is another question, did you prefer like, if you had a choice between this is kind of, um, would you pick this or that type of thing? What if it was a rainy run or a really hot run, what would you pick?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think I'd go with the rain.
Oh,
There's nothing quite like a good rain run.
yeah. I actually that's one thing I loved about living in Seattle when we lived in Seattle was, like, just going but it wasn't like a huge downpour, it was usually kinda, like, nice, just spitting type rain. Even though I do think it's kind of fun to run in pouring rain some too, but that's funny.
It
You
really is, you kinda feel like you're in a movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You need some dramatic music on, just run through the rain.
Yeah, I have this, like, dramatic music playing, and then it's, like, pans out and just somebody seeing this middle-aged man just, like, sweating down the street, like, and I just feel like I look all epic, but it's like, "What's that man doing?" It's really funny.
Did he just rob something? Why is he running in the rain?
Oh, I do that anytime I sprint, and it's, like, kind of like in a public, if it's not, like, at a park, because, like, I probably look like I'm running from something. It's hilarious. Do you,
Probably.
are you like a do you like to run in mornings, evenings?
Whenever I get the chance, honestly, I have found that I am a very disciplined person. However, when it comes to the mornings, if I'm not meeting someone in the mornings, I'm gonna sleep in and run in the afternoon. That is something I wanna work on. I wanna be a morning runner, but right now it's mostly afternoons, unless I'm meeting someone in the morning.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I gotcha. It really motivated in the evening, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get up and run," and in the morning, it's like, "Nope, nope."
Yep.
No, I hear
Pretty
you.
much, because it's so dark and we have coyotes around our neighborhood. This is just me making excuses publicly. That's what this is, but there's coyotes, I don't wanna get eaten.
Yeah, the list of excuses increase. Mountain lions, there's
Bears, we do have a bear.
oh, see, that's pretty legit, though.
Yeah.
Right now, Beth and I have a morning routine where we, will get up, have coffee, but then we have walking treadmills or walking pads, like, right next to you,
Yeah.
and so we'll just walk and talk for a while. I really do enjoy that.
Oh, that's perfect. See, I could do that.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I'm not quite at the spot where I feel like, "I want my lungs to burn. I wanna break myself apart." But later in the day, I would typically be game for something like that. Do you, do you have a preferred shoe? Are you, like, really
Yes.
dogmatic on the shoe?
I'm so glad you asked. I love a good shoe. I have a few different shoes in rotation. So my everyday trainer right now is the New Balance 1080. It's got just enough cushion where it feels like I'm floating, but it's not as much cushion as a Hoka or something similar to that. So I've got that. Brooks Ghost as a trainer is also, I mean, chef's kiss, amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. However, I will say that I'm kind of digging the New Balance better than my Brooks right now.
Whoa, now, like,
I
New
know.
Balance kinda had that old person vibe for a while. They've kind of, like, rebranded a little bit, haven't they? A little
They
bit?
did rebrand. They actually just hit, I think, $9.2 million in sales, something like that. It might have been billion. So they're trying to get to the 10 number because they restructured all of their shoes. And so now it's a lifestyle shoe company and a running shoe company. They've done a really good job.
Wow. Well, I'll have to check that out. So New Balance, you said New Balance what?
1080.
1080. Alright.
Yes. The
Okay.
1080 is great. There's also an 880, but I prefer the 1080. So
That's
many numbers. And then my race day shoe is the Adidas Adios Pro 4s. They are amazing.
so why change shoes on race day?
S it
'Cause they look
Now, I gotta be careful what I say. If you are a new runner, you don't necessarily need a specific race day shoe, but I got to the point where I'm really trying to compete and place and win races, so I finally it took me 30 something years, invested in a really good race day shoe, so that's why I chose this shoe. It helps you propel and it just helps you go faster. That's what that's what I went for.
I remember getting shoes when I was a kid. I was like, These shoes make me jump higher and run
Well,
faster.'"
some of them do, they really do.
See? See? I feel validated.
See, they are, and
Karma is coming out and you're just validating it, so this
there we go. So some of them, so my race day shoe has a carbon pole. There's like 3 rods. It's a carbon plated rod, and that helps you in the cushion kind of propel yourself faster. Some have a carbon plate, so you'll see a lot of the pro runners have a carbon plated shoe. They're called
okay.
a super shoe. Very nerdy. They have a name for them. But again, you do not ooh, look at that.
Well, the study, and I was just like, "What's the hot debates in the running community?" See, I know tons of debates in, like, hypertrophy literature, and strength training, the best way to do periodization. But I was like, I'm not really sure what the debates are in the running community. Are they all just super nice and they all agree? Come to find out they don't always agree. There's debates
Facts.
too. But the carbon fiber plates are actually pretty debated. Like, so some say like it brings like a 4% improvement in performance, but some say it's kind of technology doping, if you know what I mean by that
Yep.
term. Do you what do you think? It sounds like you're a believer.
I am a believer. Now there are some that are you can't wear to certain races because they give you too much help per se, and so you have to be careful with these shoes. Now the ones that I personally have, you'll see these on the podiums at Boston, Chicago, Berlin, London. You'll see them at all the major running events, so they are 100% sanctioned okay. There are some that are not okay, and those are like the $1,000 pair of shoes, which is insane to me to pay that much for a pair of shoes you can't even compete in. But I'm personally a fan. Anything I don't see anything wrong with them. I've actually ran the same times that I have run in them and in my normal trainers, so they're not really helping me that much. So,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, hey, if I can invest in the best technology and shoes, why not? But
Exactly, exactly.
them kind of like thinking through like, hey, does it make it fair for all racers that are there? So I'm sure there's a fine line there, but that's cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. I just like the other day when I started looking this up, I was like, oh, I've never heard of this before. So I'm gonna look into that a bit more.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So when you run, this is my last like kind of rapid fire question, but like music or no music?
Oh,
Wow.
music.
Oh
I
yeah.
think people who don't listen to music or podcasts or something while they're running, I think there's something wrong. There's something really wrong. Could never be me.
Maybe they're just like really attuned to nature and they're just really kind of
Or they're psychotic, it's hard to say.
the evidence is not conclusive. No, that's funny. I'm the same way. I probably do actually listen more to I go through a lot of books when I
Yeah,
running or even working out. I go through a lot of books, so enjoy that or podcasts. I'm kind of split, but it just depends on the vibe of the day.
I'm
Uh,
split too. It's podcast or music, no books for me.
so this might be a little bit more of a deeper question, but for a lot of people, running is more than exercise. Like becomes a way of kind of processing stress, emotions, challenges. I'm curious though. Now I know some of your backstory is I got in trouble and I got thrown into running, as a kid, but was running or is running kind of a way to overcome a particular struggle, maybe even like now in your life? Anything that you
Yes.
share?
Yes. 100% yes. We could say yes, period, in the podcast, and then we'd have a great podcast. But running, it's almost an escape. It's almost a daily escape. When I'm having a really bad day, I can go out and run, clear my mind. When I'm dealing with a work problem and trying to solve, if I go on a run, I have so much more clarity that I can pour into that. And some of my best ideas come when I'm on a run. I've actually had to get creative and tell Siri, hey, Siri, take down this note so I don't forget it while I'm on a run. It's also helps me become a better wife and a better mom to the kids because when I am running and getting exercise and clearing my brain, I can come home and be a better version of myself, therefore take care of my
Mm,
family better.
I could totally relate with that. After a good workout, I just think better, and I feel
Yes.
like you think about emotional regulation, I just feel so much better after, like, either a run, good strong workout, definitely helps. I was gonna make a joke, for those who are listening, and, Claire Boyce is married to Steven, who's a good friend of mine. So I was gonna like, "Man, if you're married to Steven, you just gotta go out and get a good run in." But that's mean. Steven is a great guy, great husband. I shouldn't poke fun at him, but it did pop in my head. I was like, "I could slam Steven right now." He'll
Oh,
he's
I mean,
great.
there's some days he's like, "Claire, like, you need to go on a run."
So he's kinda pushing you out to
Oh,
go.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's interesting, that's funny. What's your crazy experience as a runner? Like, what's your, like is there any, like, "Oh, man, I can't believe this happened." Crazy
Oh,
experience.
so a lot of and then this might be a little morbid, but a lot of runners actually stumble upon dead bodies, which I don't know
Oh my
Your
goodness, I did
face.
not expect it to go this way. Go ahead. Murder
That's never
mystery.
happened to me. Let me preface this by saying that's never had to me
Oh,
happened to me. I
come
did
on, Claire.
fine. I know, I was trying to trick you, but that I mean, they really do. You see it in movies, you see it, happen that happened to one of my run club friends, actually. Crazy, but I guess a lot of trail runners, like, you're in the trail, you're running, no one's there, so that's never happened to me. I have found a machete and a few knives, but
Oh, that you probably saw the machete, told a murder story in your head. I don't know.
right? I
Yeah.
turned around. I was like, "I think I'm gonna go the other way." But no, I have not been in a situation, thankfully, where I felt very unsafe as a runner, especially a female runner who does a majority of my runs alone, which I'm so thankful for.
Well, you have to keep us updated. So if there's any like story in the future, like, oh
"Hey,
my
John, I
goodness,
need to come out on
John,
podcast."
I saw this week. Hopefully not dead bodies though. That's pretty extreme.
Um,
But
it's a thing, look it up. You should have been looking that up instead of
oh,
shoes. It's
okay, all
a
right,
big
okay. I'm
thing.
ready to slow down. Look up dead bodies with runners. Okay, let's see if there's any stories. If I come back with one, I'm going to share it with you. It's going to be pretty insane.
I'm serious.
Have you had a runners fail, like a big runners fail? Like this was a bad idea.
Oh, all the time. Pretty much all of the time. There have been certain runs where I've had to stop running because I in the midsummer heat decided to go run 8 miles, and that was just a bad idea. Really gotta be smart with planning your runs. Another one was I was not always a fast runner, and I still say that kind of cringing because I don't consider myself to be super fast, but I have come dead last in collegiate races. That would be a major fail. A very
Oh,
humbling major fail.
oh, and that was actually at a race. You came last.
Yes, dead
Wow.
last in a collegiate race. I mean, they let me on the team, first of all. I don't know why they did that, but dead last, very humbling. I want to call my coaches up and be like, "Hey, I am so sorry for not taking this as serious as I do now. Like, can I come back and run and show you that I can actually run?"
It's like a like revenge story on yourself. Like maybe not
Yeah.
the right word. I don't know. Like, all right, I'm coming back next year and I'm gonna be whatever.
I dream about it, I really do. I have
Oh,
dreams that I'm back on that same college team, and I am putting in the effort and putting in the work and getting it done because I didn't quite do that in college.
so a good dream, not
Oh,
like
yeah. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
good. So
I'm
I'm
on
glad
the
okay.
team.
I relive nightmare, like wake up every night. I was last again on the
No,
dream.
but I it's really helped shape my perspective now because I can truly say that I have become dead last in a race, and I've also been first in a race. So I've been your typical party pace, I like to say, like party pace, you're running really fun pace, you're grooving, you're talking to your friends, and then I've like flat out race. And I
Mm,
think that puts me in a really interesting perspective because I've kind of been in all of the no, I won't say all, a majority of the different paces. So I can kind of relate across the board, which has helped. I mean, encourage other friends to run and encourage friends to, "Oh, hey, like, you have this in you. Like, let's see what you got. Let's go hard and go all in."
mm. So let me tell you my greatest fail in
Okay.
a race, and this will maybe make yourself feel better about yourself. I don't actually remember where I placed in it, but I had this race. It was a 10K, and I didn't train at all for it. At all. I actually forgot I signed up for it. And then, I signed up with a bunch of other people, bunch of friends or whatever, and I found out that the race was there, like, 2 days, and I wasn't even, like, running in that phase of my life. I was, like, going to the gym and lifting, but I wasn't doing any cardio, but I was a teenager, so I was like, pretty good shape. I got this. What, 10K? That's nothing." And, but I did something worse. The night before, I decided, "I'm gonna start training for this."
Oh, no.
So, I went out, I was like, I'm gonna go run 5 miles." And remember, I hadn't been running.
Oh,
I ran
no.
5 miles, and I was so sore. Like, I came back, I just felt when you kinda feel like, "I'm gonna be sore from that." So,
Yep.
I went back and I tried to do everything to mitigate being sore as I could, I woke up the next day and I felt crampy and sore. So I was trying to like stretch out and I had like some cramps before I started the 10K. And I was like, "Oh, man." I was like, "I'm fine. I'm young. I got this." It was the worst race ever. Like,
I believe
seriously,
it.
it's just like a couple miles in, and I was hating the run. I had, a pain in my side. My calf was kind of crunching up a little bit, and, I think it was at the 3.5 or 4-mile mark, I got this nosebleed, and then the nose just started bleeding. I didn't hit it or anything. Um,
No.
I don't know if there's, like, a reason for that. Maybe you know why you get a nosebleed in the middle of a run
I've
randomly.
only ever had one mid-run nosebleed, and I didn't know it happened. And I was at the soccer field with a bunch of little kids, and they were all just staring at me. I was like, "Oh, that's why you're staring." But no, I because of dryness, elevation, maybe.
So I, like, took some paper and stuffed it up my nose. And I'm running, like, I think I stopped for that. It was my only time stopping. I think I did run the whole thing. It was really slow. I mean, I think it was, like, probably
You
d
were sore, you could barely move.
it was horrible, and I finished it. I was like, why?" Now, to my credit, there was no, like, I was young. I also, like, YouTube was out, but it really wasn't a thing then to say best way to train for a race. It was my first 10K too at that time. So, I don't know. It was horrible, and maybe that's why I've been scarred for, like, longer races. You're like, "You haven't quite done the half marathon." But
I'm telling you, when you train, it's easier.
yes. Which kind of leads me into another question. I'm curious your take on this. So another kind of controversial topic is like the best way to train for long races. So some would say easy runs most of the time, like 70 to 90% easy runs. Others would say like actually you should do more hard training, like intervals and short mileage. It's better to run. So some say it's better to run more miles at an easy pace, and some say fewer miles but faster sessions. Which do you have a take?
It depends on your level of fitness starting out. It really does. If you are a beginner and you have never actually run before, then I would recommend with all of my might start slow, easy runs. 80% of your runs need to be at a zone 2 heart rate or
Mm,
less. And sometimes that might mean that you are doing run walk intervals, which is still okay. If you walk in a race, you are still a runner. If you walk in your training, that's okay. You are still a runner, but 80% of your runs need to be at zone 2. Now, that's only 80%. I didn't say 100%. I just said 80%. That other 20% is there for your interval trainings or some speed workout. Now, if your goal is to finish the race, that's totally fine. Like 80-20 rule all day and night. Now, if you are a more advanced runner, then I would still stick to 80% of your zone 2 runs, but I would really dig deeper into the speed work, intervals, fartleks, turnovers to really kind of dig into that speed. Your zone 2 will also increase, like you can run faster for longer in zone 2 as your fitness builds. So your zone 2 right when you begin, that might be a 10 or 11-minute mile. For some people, that could be a 13-minute mile, but as you build endurance and fitness and speed, that could get lower. That could be a 10-minute mile. That could be a 9-minute mile.
that's awesome. Do you care much about tracking your VO2 max?
So
Um,
that is a very hot topic right now. Very hot topic. I don't know a ton about it. I know that my range is good because I just talked about it on a podcast, but I don't obsess over all the data numbers for VO2 max. Now, my HRV, yes, I do track that and I track some other metrics, but not a ton of VO2 max.
that's interesting. So I am probably more at the beginning of my investigation of like the science behind all of that. Just
Yeah.
because I one thing I'm a subject I'm very passionate about is the science of longevity, and strength training is one of the key ways, and really it's attributed to maintaining fast twitch muscle fiber because a lot of older people will lose that fast twitch muscle fiber showing up in their balance and their ability to fire faster muscles. And if they fall, hurt themselves, they may not recover. So
Mm.
strength training is like one of those key things, but also maintaining just good, healthy muscle mass later in life is healthy. But a big determiner, at least what I understand, is people check like what is your VO2 max can actually be an indicator of longevity and how long they may live. That's really interesting,
Wow.
but it might play into some of the debated area. So I'm kind of like looking into that, but I was curious of how much that played into your thought process. Now, when it
I
comes to
haven't a ton yet, but there's so much information about it, and I'm at the point now where there's an overload of information, and I'm not sure if it's good information or if it's misleading information. It's hard to kind of find a good source and dig in because there's so much that goes into it.
well, if you're ever interested and you ever do kind of like dig deep into that literature, let me know. Maybe we could have you back on and we could talk deep
Yeah,
because that
VO2.
is a interesting topic that I'm not quite at the spot where I feel like I could speak authoritatively on, but I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, yeah, I'm getting familiar with the literature and the studies, but not quite there yet." When it comes to your training for a marathon, you gave us some details. Do you follow like a periodization model, like, kind of like base, build, peak, taper kind of
Yep.
idea? How does that
Oh,
work?
yeah. So I just for reference, and this is gonna look different for everybody. So here, when I say what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. But I just got out of let's see, 12-week base building period. And so what that meant is I was constantly hitting at least minimum 25 miles a week in my running. Now that didn't include a bunch of speed work that was really time on feet, which means I'm building my base. Now I am in a speed work phase. So my overall goal is to get a faster time in the 5K, the 10K, and the half marathon, because my North Star goal is to qualify for the Boston Marathon, which means I have to run a full marathon in 3 hours and 25 minutes. So I've got to get faster. So right now I'm in the speed section, and then I'll move on to another 12 weeks, and then I'll move on to another 12 weeks. So it's set up in different segments, like a puzzle per se.
So 3 hours and 25 minutes, how fast is that per mile?
That is so fast. That's so fast.
Do you know what like, how many minutes that is per
I
mile?
think that's gonna be a 7-minute 7:26 is
26.
what I'm aiming for the full marathon. So, to kinda break that down, I need to run a 21-minute 5K next. So, if I can run a 21-minute 5K, that kinda puts me on the path toward that
Oh,
marathon
okay. Oh,
goal.
that's an interesting way of breaking it down.
Mhm.
Wow. I'm just thinking about running I mean, like, for a lot of people just saying, "I'm gonna run a mile at 7 minutes and 26 seconds," might be a, pretty significant challenge. So to
Yes.
do that, that's quite a lot of, conditioning
And
to
that's why
it's great.
it really is, and that's why it is a North Star goal. I've got a lot of work that I have to do, and this goal, I mean, it's probably gonna take 2 years. This isn't a I can't take a pill and just instantly get that time. I have to truly work, piece by piece in every single race distance. So we'll see. My next 5K is on May 16th, I believe, and I'm really aiming for that 21 number, so we'll see.
So, base, then you're doing a speed block,
Yep,
and
gotta do speed. So my speed block is gonna be kind of longer because of how my goals are set up, and that's how my coach is kind of helping me break things down. And then you do go through a period of, like, stabilization, and then some people it looks different for some people, and then you go into your taper. Now, this can also be broken up into 12 weeks as well. So it gets a little confusing, but your taper is typically a week before a race. Longer races, it's going to be about 2 weeks. So think marathons, sometimes half marathons, depending on your fitness level, but your taper for full marathons is usually about 2 weeks. And that's when you have maybe one speed workout, and then it's like 20% mileage down for sure, because you want to have fresh legs. A fun fact about the taper phase actually is that you might feel weird aches and pains that are like a ghost ache and pain. They're not actually there, but your mind is like, wait a minute, I'm used to doing all this work and now you're not doing anything. What's going on? It's called the
So
taper crazies.
interesting. How do you
Yeah.
tell the difference between a ghost pain and a real pain?
You just kind of have to put it out of your mind. And then when you show up confident on race day, it just goes away.
I just had this scenario in my head, kind of like ghost pain, ghost pain, ghost pain. And it's like you're like,
It's so real.
you might be like, John, I think that might be a real pain. You might want to stop. I don't know. Oh, that's really funny. What do you do for a taper week? What does that look like? Is that kind of like half the volume, half pace? What how does that look?
Sometimes, usually for me, it's about 20%, 20 to 30% down in mileage. So
Okay, so
20 of your weekly mileage. And then for speed workout, I like to get at least one speed workout in, not all out, just to get my legs turning over
okay.
fast.
So for you, and I'm sure it could be different for different people, tapering tends to be like your overall mileage is decreased.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And you said big races a lot of times might be a 2-week taper?
Yeah, so a marathon, so pretty much anything over 26.2 miles, I would highly recommend a 2-week taper. I know in all of our upward running training plans, it aligns perfectly. It's always a 2-week for those because you really wanna give your body time to rest because 'cause you've put your body through a lot to get to where you are, and you should be proud of that and give your body that little break before you can go celebrate at your race.
Do you believe in a runner's high, or is that a myth? Or is it just a result of like, "Oh, I'm just conditioned now?"
I do believe in it. Now, I think it looks different for everyone, and it's not I feel like just the word high, people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna feel really weird in a different way," and while that might be true for some people, I've never really experienced that. What I experience is just a pure dopamine and adrenaline rush after I finish a really hard workout or a really hard race, or I've been really working hard towards this big goal. So, in last October, my goal was to PR in the marathon, and I spent all year, I mean, months, 10 months training for this big race. And after I got to the finish line, I beat my record by 6 minutes and my goal time by 6 minutes. It was just like pure adrenaline, like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that my body just did that. Like, did I really just do that? I think I just did that." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just did that." So I think that for me is where the whole
Mm,
runner's high comes into play.
okay, that's interesting. So the way you described it was different than the way I've heard it explained or
Mhm.
thought of, so that's I like your nuance. You're talking about almost in terms of the feeling you get at the completion of
Yes.
the race, almost like a dopamine and almost like a buildup of the end of delayed gratification. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, man, all my training, I said no a lot to say yes to this. And now I finished the hard thing and I did it well. I finished strong. And so you get all the emotions coming from, and it's
Mhm.
been months, maybe years of pushing hard for this moment. And I followed through in the high or the
Yeah.
gratification that comes from that. Do you think there's a kind of the way I described or heard it describe a runner's high is like actually while running, you just feel like you've reached a place where, man, I'm just enjoying this so much. It feels effortless, but in a unique sense. Have you heard people use it that way, or am I just
No, that is totally what people say. I like to call those miles. I just heard it. My one of my co-host Travis Vaughn actually calls them groovy miles, where you just kind of lock in and you
proof in
set
that?
in, and you're just grooving along. You're just, I mean, it doesn't feel quite easy, but it's not hard, if that makes sense. You're just grooving along. You lock into that pace. Your groovy miles.
The only time I've ever really felt like I've got there is when I'm actually like listening to something, like, but and maybe it's more like I'm distracted and running, but it's a good look. It's like, oh yeah, I'm still running. Oh hey, maybe I hit this runner's high groovy miles. I like that. I
Yeah,
like the title of it. Um,
it's a thing. It's a thing. It's different for everybody.
Do you believe in that strength training helps your running? Do you avoid strength training when how do you do how does that look like when you're preparing for a race, and how much involvement does that have in your plan?
So I am not the expert when it comes to this. So what I'm doing probably might not be enough, but it keeps me it helps prevent me from getting injured. So I like to supplement on one of my active recovery days or a rest day from running, of course, a little bit of strength training. And I really try to work on my glutes, my hamstrings. I do some weird like knee exercises to help my knees.
Mhm.
There's a shin exercise and calf exercise that I like to do to make sure that all those muscles are firing properly. I
Mm.
could do more. I just don't know what I'm doing. And so that's where I'm hoping you coming on the Kind of Fast podcast can kind of help shed some light on that topic.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. That's definitely where my passion and expertise would be. But we can talk more on your podcast on the correlation between the modalities,
Yeah.
running and then
And
also
your core. Like, I didn't realize how much your core plays into being a runner, and it's, like, a lot.
yes, yes. A lot of older runners kinda dogged on strength training, like, they felt like,
Mhm.
"This is gonna hurt." Um, a lot of the literature, though, kind of says the opposite, within reason, of course. Like, if, eventually, especially when and this, uh, depends on the sport, but the closer you get to the actual event, the more sport specific your training should be. Um, and your other kinds of training, like strength training, you might still keep elements of it, but it's going to kind of taper back a bit. So that
Yeah,
it's more emphasis. If you try to run too many modalities at one time, you do none of them well, and it could affect your running. And I think that's where the old school runners kind of saw like, oh, this could affect my
mm,
the I guess the excellence that I could have in this sport. But there's a place for like, oh, actually, if I built stronger legs through strength training, I built that foundation, it's gonna one, help me perform better, but then two, help me do this longer. Because there is something about strength training particularly that actually helps build your joints and ligaments. And when you lift heavy loads, it even builds up some more fluid cushion around joints that you don't get from a running modality. But that's
fascinating.
yeah, it's something we could talk about, another podcast, another day. But, no, this has really been super helpful. So I'm curious, what's one training mistake that I mean, I would say, an expert runner. I'm sure anybody that calls you an expert, you always kinda like, "Oh, yeah, I still got much more to learn." But, like, what's a typical running mistake? Or let me rephrase that. What's one training mistake most runners make?
Easy. Too much, too fast, too soon. We call them the terrible twos.
Interesting. The
Yep.
terribles. Nice
Yeah.
words.
So
Too much, too soon.
too fast. So too much, too soon, too soon, too fast. And this really plays out with injuries and shin splints and burning yourself out. A good rule of thumb is to really stay in that zone two. Man, words are hard right now. Stay in that zone
I missed you.
2. Only increase your mileage every week by 10%, especially beginning, and don't go too fast. Like, don't do it. Too much, too fast, too soon. That's how we see a lot of runners get sidelined because they get
Mhm.
hurt or burn out or just think that they really don't like running, but they're just going way too fast.
It sounds like progressive overload applied to running. You know the term progressive.
Yeah, it does. That's exactly it.
It's like, and, I think this is more of a tendency with guys, but, girls could fall into it too, but it's like, you get into that ego lifting, you're just like, "Oh, dude, I'm feeling super strong," and, like, "I could add 50 pounds of this lift this week," and it's not sustainable, and then you start doing dumb things. It's just like,
Yep.
okay, where you started off with actually pretty excellent technique, and you knew you were actually targeting the muscle well and training the muscle well. Now you're just kind of using momentum, twisting the body, and, it's like you got the rep, but I'm not really sure if you really trained well. Kind of
Yep,
things. So it sounds similar.
it is, and it's I mean, you will find that on almost every running book that you read online, that and a good pair of shoes, not having a good pair of shoes are the 2 things that a lot of beginner runners and not beginner runners struggle with.
So I do this when I'm talking to people, I use the gym often as a analogy for life. It's like the gym. Or it's like, I'll even say, "Well, you just gotta get your reps in." I'll be using these little analogies. Um, what part has running, um how has running changed your life in that sense? Do you know what I mean? Like, how has running, kind of like the discipline of running, impacted other areas of your life?
I honestly can't think of an area in my life where running has not greatly impacted my life. It has helped me through bouts of really bad and depressive seasons. It had helped me like just with a pure discipline that really can't be replicated. The discipline of it is raining or snowing or sleet or it is 19 degrees outside, but I've got to go get my run done. Like it has taught me a really good discipline, which and therefore kind of trickled over into my work life. I just get find a ways to get it done. It's helped me overcome some of the deepest obstacles of my life. Like I feel almost indebted to running because it truly has saved me in more ways than one. If that answers your question.
It does. I think on your podcast, you use this really cool, um, I don't know if it's the best way to say is play on words. I actually wrote it down somewhere. I'm not sure where I put it actually at the moment, but basically you said, your podcast, which you can maybe close with giving us, and we'll put this in the show notes too, so people can see and where to find you and stuff. But the podcast that you run, kind of, it's the crossroads of like faith and fitness.
Where faith and fitness meet.
And I think, yes. And then you also talk about uh, grace and grit, I think, which I
Mhm.
love to play on words, and pace and purpose. I was like, oh man, this is really good play on words. I loved y'all's introduction to the podcast. So it sounds like to me that running has helped you with living on purpose, and maybe even helped develop your faith. I'll tell you
Yes.
this. I don't know if you could relate with this. But there was a time where, like, in my own faith journey, where I was like, "I don't understand what God's doing. This doesn't make sense at all." Matter of fact, there's been times where, prayer frustrated me more than helped.
Mm.
I was just like, "I'm really frustrated with this. I know I know I can cast my care, but I'm not sure if I feel like there's care on the other end here. I'm really frustrated." And there's times where actually just going and hitting the weights or the workout, um, was what actually I needed for a reset. And I don't look at it as, "Oh, abandoned God for this, and this helped me more." I actually look at it as, this is actually one of the ways God has set up naturally for us to work out our, internal tensions. There's a a mind and body connection there. And so, like, when my mind is just stuck and trapped, you could sit there and say, "I'm gonna try to unstuck myself or work on this." And, it could be a sense of like, um, eh and I don't know if you ever got into, I'm not, it depends on how you do it actually, but, like, people will just, like, shout affirmations in the mirror, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, I mean, I think there's a time to be able to say, "Hey, you're better than this. You can do this. You can be strong." All those can be good. Sometimes, I think what's better is actually going out and proving you can, and go
Mm.
and like, "Hey, I can't do this. I'm gonna go hit the gym. Hey, I did something hard." And all of a sudden my brain is reset, and now it's ready to face more hard things. Um, but, um, but I've seen this interplay of going to the gym, learning to get in rhythms, and some of the old, um ancient philosophy literature says, "Hey, control the controllables." It's like there's a lot in life that I can't control, but I can go for a run. There's
Yeah.
a lot in life I can't control, but I can go throw around the weights, type of a thing. And I think that it sets us back into this mindset of like, hey, I'm going to focus on what I can control and I'm going to leave the rest in God's hands, you know.
Yep.
And I'm going to actually instead of cursing the mystery, being angry, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to choose to see what is good and beautiful and true. And yes, it's okay for me to be frustrated and discouraged and sad, but I'm going to control what I can. And I'm going to, and I just I feel like the fitness floor or the running track or whatever is just a great place to kind of pound that out.
Yes.
Mm. But, yes, that's been my experience. Claire, I wanna say, I really have enjoyed you jumping on this podcast, and you've given kind of open up about your own story, but also give us some really practical things, like, to kinda walk away with. I'm sure, like, people who are maybe starting their journey with running, they're like, "Okay, I understand that probably 80% of my running should be more in that easy category, make sure that I'm not increasing over," I think you said 10%, you know,
Mhm.
and just kinda keeping a good pace, and, maybe some people can look into your podcast and hear more about some periodization. I don't know if you guys cover that on your podcast yet. If there's an episode.
We do. We do have an episode on that. I can shoot it to you.
Oh, that'd be great. I can just include that in the notes. But to close with this, is there anything about running or about your own journey that you haven't touched on that you would like your listeners or the listeners to hear? Maybe you could just say last bit of advice, whatever you like to share.
Yeah. So I would love to leave this podcast with a note of anybody can be a runner. It doesn't matter what you look like. Like I said, I think at the beginning of the show, it doesn't matter if you're really thin. It doesn't matter if you're the opposite of really thin. It doesn't matter if you're fast or if you're slow. If you go to one of these races and you look around, you will see people from literally every walk of life. From a child running to, I mean, I know people that are in their 80s running. So you can be a runner, you can run. I encourage you and challenge you to just give it a try.
That's great. Great word. I love it. And I think encourages really anybody from any walk of life to say, "Hey, I could start. I could jump
Yep.
into this."
It's
And
never too late.
you can already embrace the title. "I'm a runner. I'm gonna get out there." Um,
Yeah.
have you read James Clear's book, Atomic Habit?
I have not.
It's a really good book, and one thing that he talks about is, yeah, you can have outcome 3 levels of really changing behavior. You can have an outcome that you want. I wanna lose 20 pounds, or it could be I wanna I wanna get involved in running, or I wanna run a race. But then it's like, then the next level is more habit oriented. So outcome, I want to do this. Habits are, what are the necessary habits or rhythms that I need to do in order for me to get the outcome. But then he goes a I guess a layer deeper would be identity, and it'd be like,
Mm,
okay, what kind of person actually does the habits to get the outcome? And but really making sure that they're thinking through, what kind of a person do I want to become? Rather than just like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. What kind of a person actually follows through to lose the 20 pounds? And it becomes like an identity level change rather than just like outcome oriented. A lot of people stop at outcome. They might get to habits, but rarely do they get to identity level. And I thought,
mm.
um, but it sounds like to me too, I think you're encouraging people when they think about themselves at an identity level, they could start with like, "Hey, I can do this. It's
Yep.
okay." So I love it. Claire, thanks for coming on the channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so much fun.